Hi, everyone, and welcome to match 3, game 3. As you recall, Black has a 3-0 lead to 7, right? He's 4 away. And so obviously, White is trying to get back into the match. He needs to be a little aggressive, but has to be careful as well because Black would love to win a doubled gammon and finish the match off, right? 4 points away from winning the match. So, yeah, so very exciting game coming up. Could be the end of the match. Let's see what happens. And one thing to keep in mind that's kind of interesting is one of the players does establish a 6 prime. And things do look dire for one of the players. But it is interesting, right, that a 6 prime is not immutable, that, a 6 prime can break if some other checkers are blocked in different ways. So don't give up hope if you're behind a 6 prime. And keep in mind that there are ways to perhaps cause your opponent to crunch, right? So look out for those, right? Think about what might block your opponent in the best way if you're behind a 6 prime. You basically want to block. You don't want to hit, right? Generally speaking. Okay, well, yeah, so that's it. Enjoy the match. One thing I was going to ask you guys was maybe in the comments whether you have some advice about how to grow this channel. A number of you had said it's useful content and you're learning quite a bit. And so I'm wondering what other channels are there? I mean, I've tried Reddit. Some of you have joined from the Reddit kind of page. But I'm wondering what other channels there might be to try to get people to, more people to find out about the channel and maybe sign up, subscribe. It's just nice to be teaching a wider audience. Yeah? Okay, so let me know if you have any ideas. Thanks very much. And Kung Hei Fat Choi, right? It's Chinese New Year. So I don't know if anyone out there celebrates it. I'm in Hong Kong, so we do celebrate it. And basically it's starting tonight. Okay, enjoy the match. Okay, let's start. So, as we mentioned, Black is 4 away, okay, which is a nice score to be at. Black would love a doubled gammon, right, to finish off the match. But White also has to play quite aggressively to try to get back into the game. So, White gets a nice first roll, 4-2. And Black rolls double 2s, also very good. And this is kind of an interesting moment because there are a few different options, right? The standard play is 13-11, 6-4. But when you're ahead, you generally want to get an advanced anchor of some sort, especially if your opponent has made a point, just like White has here, right? So you want to get these checkers up a little, yeah. But what's interesting here is that making the advanced anchor, right, the highest advanced anchor, is quite a reasonable play, and it's part of the reason, of course, is that it's a good place to be, right, to own the golden point. But also because Black is ahead in the score, that kind of gives him a lot of insurance. However, as I mentioned, Black would also like to win a doubled gammon if possible. And so combining the anchor with a little offense is actually probably the best strategy, right? But both are possible, but unstacking the 6 point is always a good idea. And you make that that more advanced anchor. So quite a good move by Black here. Okay, 4-2, not so useful, but since Black has a more advanced anchor, White needs to work on his own back checkers. And notice, really, at this point, you need to unstack the heavy midpoint, right? Okay. The other option, of course, was just playing both up. But that, it doesn't make much sense at this score, especially. You know, in some situations, yeah, you do want to avoid getting hit in the outfield, but it's not such a big issue at this point. Okay, 5-4. Now this, I think this is a key sort of theme that comes up in a lot of backgammon games, right? When do you leave your anchor? And let's just say that generally speaking, XG doesn't like to leave the anchor. Okay, there has to be a good reason, like you have to be really far ahead in the race. That being said, I remember, you know, was it Michi, right? One of the top Japanese backgammon players. He calls this the butterfly anchor. And I believe that's partly because you do tend to leave this anchor more than some other anchors, like the golden point, the 20-point anchor. So, you know, it's not a horrible move, but it's a bit early to think about running off the anchor. White does have some ammunition, and remember, like, escaping one checker doesn't mean you're necessarily going to be escaping the other checker, right? It can come under attack, as we're going to see in this game. So basically, there are two other options, okay? One of them is interesting, is just bringing 2 down, unstacking the midpoint. And the reason why you can do this is simply because you do have that defensive anchor, more advanced one. And so, you know, if you do get hit, there's still plenty of play. And you are putting some pressure on black's blots, right? And so if you're not hit, you have some chances of making the 5-point. Okay. The other one is just playing safe, okay, and waiting for your opportunity. I mean, it's not a great roll, but yeah, running off the anchor here, do keep an eye out for this, okay? Like, if you're thinking about running off the anchor, generally speaking, it's not the right idea unless you're really far ahead in the race, or unless, you know, you're going to just compromise your position otherwise quite horribly. But it's understandable, you know. The other problem, of course, is that midpoint, black's midpoint, is horribly stacked, right? You've just got so many checkers on here. And that's, you know, it's maybe better to unstack it before you start stacking it more. That's another kind of theme to think about. Okay. And speaking of advanced anchors, white is able to make that bar point anchor. Okay. Now, this is an interesting moment again. Our natural inclination is to make a home board point, right? Especially if white thinks, oh, I'm just going to attack black's lone checker back here, right? All alone, let's just hit loose. Well, no, let's make our home board stronger. So if white attacks, you know, maybe he'll think twice before hitting loose or something like that. So it's kind of understandable, but again, we're coming back to that key point, right? Is that the 13-point is really stacked. And, you know, once you make the 3-point, that's the only point with spare checkers on it. So this is another thing to think about. When you have stacked points, your first inclination should be to unstack it, okay? And XG says, in this case, the best play is simply to, you know, slot the 5-point, okay? And which is quite a useful play, right? A useful use of one of those checkers on the 13-point, okay? And get ready to make, you know, making the home board is a worthy kind of exercise, enterprise, but making the 5-point is worth a lot more, yeah? So look out for these situations where you have stacked points, because your flexibility is definitely down if you maintain a stacked point. Okay, so black makes the 3-point, and white makes the 5-point. That gives him a nice advantage. And now black's lone checker back there is starting to feel a little bit of pressure. Oh, this is, as you can see, a bit of an uncomfortable role, right? The 5 is easy to play, but the other 1, you're basically going to have to leave some home board blots, which is really unfortunate. And that's part of the cost of black's choice last time, right? Okay, 5-1 would have played very nicely if black had slotted the 5-point. So now what's interesting is that white correctly doubles and black should pass this. It seems a little surprising, right? For one thing, black's very much in the game in terms of the race, okay? And yes, white has a strong home board. He's got 9 checkers, right, to attack with, so that is something. It's nothing to sniff at, okay? But, black's position isn't horrible, and if white hits loose, black could hit back and cover maybe one of the checkers, like a 3-1 or something like that. So it seems quite reasonable to take this one, doesn't it? Especially because of the race, right? You generally think, okay, if he doesn't hit me, then I'll still have running chances, and things are not horrible. But one of the things here is the match situation, okay, which makes it more of a pass. Okay, this is a great opportunity for white to get back into the game, and with those 2 blots in, it's quite a dangerous situation. White is just going to be hit happy, right? If with those blots in black's home board, and if black hits back, white probably will have opportunities to send more checkers back, and things could get nasty quickly. So to be honest, I'm a little surprised myself that this is a pass. I knew it was a decent double, so I doubled. But I kind of thought, like my opponent, that this was a take. But quite interesting. I think it's partly score-based, yeah. Notice that black does have, quite high winning chances, but white's gammon chances are almost 30%. So that's the key problem with taking this cube. Okay, so black does take, and white doesn't roll optimally, but he does get the hit, and he brings some ammunition down. And white comes in, not great from the bar, but at least he's able to make a home board point. So again, not the greatest roll. White has a 4, and he can hit loose with the 4 or make the 3 with the 4, right? The 3-point. And yeah, he's got to make the 3-point. Okay, it's a little too much to have 2 blots in his home board here. So that's a given. And then the question is what to do with the 2. Okay. And white sort of figures, yeah, I'm in a strong position, no need to take unnecessary risks. And black does have a 3-point home board himself. But XG likes, XG says go for it. Okay, make the 3-point and then bring another checker down. And if black doesn't roll a 6 or a 5-1 or a 5-4, I suppose, 6-3, then white is in really good shape. But yeah, this again is kind of predicated on the score. And don't forget that even though white is leaving a couple blots, black still has that blot in his own home board. Okay, and white has a fantastic, after the 7-3 play. White has a fantastic home board, very strong. And so he's kind of happy to force contact here. And again, if black hits, well, not great, but there's going to be lots of action, right? And with the cube on 2, you really want a gammonish position. Of course, black, if black gammons white, then that's match over. But this is a great chance for white to get back into the match. But with that being said, it's not too far off, right? To just play safely, as it were. Okay. It is interesting, but it's hard to play 13-11 in this position. Yeah, you have a decent advantage, but notice it's not an overwhelming advantage yet. It's still like 65%. Winning chances only. Yeah. Okay. Black rolls a 4-1, not great. He'd love to kind of try to jump out and run for it, but no luck. So he unstacks his midpoint. And white continues the attack. Okay, now things are really starting to look a bit dire for black. He's had to bury a checker, right? To kind of semi-bury a checker on the 4-point here. And again, notice always, that 8-point is stripped. The 6-point is stripped. It's not looking good. Well, the 4 is obvious. And again, the situation just calls for slotting the 7. There's not much else to do. Yeah. If black rolls a 6, then there are ways to counterattack, right? And with that blot in black's home board, there's going to be action. So got to do what you got to do. And black misses. Okay. So things are really looking sad. And white makes the 6 prime. So it does look, there's even gammon chances here. And again, black's home board position is not optimal with that gap on the 5-point. So white is quite happy in this position, looking for ways to attack that lone checker on the 1-point. Yeah. Yep, not much black can do here. Okay, and yeah, this seems like a natural move. One of the ideas is to bring this spare checker in range of that 1-point, right? Of that blot on the 1, so you can attack it with a 6 or something like that. But, it takes a little courage, I guess, because you are leaving 2 blots and, it's still possible for black to counter prime, I suppose, and force white to crunch his 6 prime. And so, but again, with the gap on the 5-point, it's not so easy to make that point, and it's likely that white will be able to escape. So it's not really a huge risk. But as you can see, it's not really a big mistake to just run one of them at least. Okay, and black makes a bit of a mistake here, yeah? One of the ideas, of course, is that, while it's certainly good to hit, you want to sort of not play around too much with the gammons. Okay, black would prefer not to get gammoned. Of course, he wants to try to, have some chances of winning the game, but it's better to cover on the 2-point, right? And hit with a checker and cover with the other one, so that there are no direct shots from the bar. Yeah, so that's a bit risky in terms of the gammon chances. So if you look here, right? So if you look here, the regular play gives you gives white 20% gammon chances, but the play that black plays increases that by 11%, up to 31% gammon chances. So that's a little too much risk. And notice the winning chances don't increase so much, right? We go 94, like, yeah, this even gives you like 94%, and this actually gives you fewer winning chances. So all around, it's quite a bad move. Okay, so black hits and white hits back. And black is really happy to anchor up here. But of course, he has to play the 6 down, and white is looking still pretty good here. But this roll, what? It didn't take long, and all of a sudden, white has to crunch. It's really unfortunate, but still, you know, it's going to be hard for black to turn this game around, even with this anti-joker. Well, that doesn't hurt. Okay, black points on white. And white dances. Ooh, black is a 6 away from, it's starting to look a little bit scary, huh? Aha. But black can't do any better than just putting, you know, putting a checker, making the bar point there. And this was strange. This was strange. I'm not sure. I think maybe I just moved this too quickly. Of course, you know, you're still leaving the 6 shot, but it just looking at it, it's very strange. It looks so crucial to move up, right? To get some air, right? Some, you know, some light, so to speak, by moving up to the 20. But yeah, it's interesting. It's very close, yeah. But anyways, there are more shots, of course. And keep in mind, black is on the verge of crunching himself. So yeah, it's rather close. In retrospect, I don't know. I think I might have played this, but I guess it's a bit of a toss-up here. Okay, black comes out and just diversifies there. I'm not sure. I guess maybe it's better just to run all the way, simply to have better outfield coverage. Yeah. And now this was definitely a mistake in terms of just using that 4, you know. I think the thinking here was that it's time to go for the gammon, right? Time to really press your advantage, and you've got white has a 5-point board against black's 4-point board, lots of builders to make the point, so just go for the gammon. And yes, you know, the gammon chances seem stronger, but actually it's not all that much stronger if you look at the various percentages here. Okay, and your winning chances actually, you know, this anything actually, this is a move that gives you more gammon chances. Okay, both equal though, but a huge difference in winning chances. Okay, you're giving black a chance to kind of get back into the game a little more here. Yeah, so a huge blunder. White really needs to use that 4 in this case. Unfortunate. I guess white just felt the gammons were going to be higher, but in fact, it's an illusion. And lo and behold, what a roll by black. 1-6. Okay. Of course, if black had rolled 1-6 with white's checker on the 20 point, it would be unfortunate, but you know, not as bad, of course. So now the game has just completely turned around, and white dances from the bar, and now things are looking a bit dire. But black plays on, seeing if he can get a gammon. So he diversifies from the 4 point, okay, and white dances again. Ay, 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 ay. Okay, brings a checker within range of the 5 point, just in case, and just leaves himself open to double fives, basically. And white dances again. What a disaster. And 6-1 points on white. Things, the gammons are going up. We're up to 25% gammons. Dances. Okay. Not a big difference here. Whoops. Yeah, I mean, if we look back here, so does this option help with that? Well, it does, right? It avoids double sixes. So yeah, keep it in mind, right? Generally, it's a habit just to calculate how certain doubles play, especially double sixes. And in this case, if black had played the recommended move, then double sixes would be just fine. Yeah. So he messed up a little there. So let's see what happens. White misses. Yeah. At least he gets one checker in. And that kind of, but still, it's 36% gammon chances. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Double ones. Well, now things are definitely not looking good. We're over 50% gammon chances. Now, is this the end of the match? I guess you're probably wondering, this seems like a bit of a sweep, yeah, if the match is over in game 3. So let's see. 2-1, okay, that's not optimal. And finally gets a checker in. 5-1, again, not optional, not optimal. Oh, dancing again. Ay. Up to over 70% gammon chances and match winning chances. 4-2, okay. Only one checker off. Double twos, incredible. Now gammons are really over 80% gammons at this point. 3-2. Now we're over 90% gammons. Okay. In with one checker and one crossover. So 97% gammons at this point. 2 off and double fives. Okay, so there is a slight chance, 83% still, even after double fives. Okay, 2-1. That gives a glimmer of hope. Okay. And 2 twos. Okay, well, we're going to need some help here. Black needs to roll a 1, or else the match is over. And a 1 it is. Wow, white just escapes by the skin of his teeth. And he saves the gammon somehow. 97% gammon winning chances at one point. So white survives. Okay, so yeah, a very nerve-wracking game, that one. Black comes away with 2 points. So he's now at 2 away, 7 away, right? 5-0. So let's see what white can do to try to get back into this match. But I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, you were probably wondering, is this the end of the match? But yeah, I'm not going to give you one of these matches where one of the player just sweeps the other one off, despite the fact that, that was kind of an interesting game. And again, White paid for his sins, right? He made this really huge error towards the end of the game with the 4-1, and he paid for it. So yeah, you got to be careful, right, at every stage. And we're not always paid for our big mistakes, but White really almost paid the ultimate price, as we say. Okay, thanks a lot. And yeah, leave any comments or suggestions or questions in the comments. And look forward to seeing you. Yes, there is a game 4, believe it or not. Okay, thanks a lot.